I walk 30,000 steps every single day, and I do zero cardio in order to build and ultimately maintain muscle year-round. This happens to be one of my designated lift days or resistance training days. So I'm actually headed to the gym right now. And on the few rare occasions during my day, I'm actually going to have to, unfortunately, sit my butt inside of the car and drive about 7 or 8 minutes to the gym. If you guys are interested, where am I at right now? I'm at 15,251. So check that out, guys. Only 2 meals in, about 10:40 a.m. and I'm at 50,251, about to head to the gym and knock out an easy 2,500 steps. So I'm probably not going to sneak this bad boy into the gym, but when I come back from the gym, I'm going to let you guys know exactly how I'm doing zero cardio and still maintaining a high step count. And all of that is ultimately allowing me to build and maintain muscle. Just got done with the gym, and I was able to go through all 12 exercises that make up my total body workout. Last day of the week for me to do my total body workout. I usually do them 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but if I have like an annoying meeting at work on Wednesday, then I usually have to switch it up to Thursday and then Saturday, which is today. A little bit crowded than usual at the Planet Fitness that I go to, but I was able to kind of wait a little bit for the last 2 machines, namely the pull-up, the assisted weight dip machine, and then the bicep curls at the end, just to kind of work a little extra on the arms. And now I'm outside because I could just get into my car, drive off home, and start preparing lunch, or I could finish up this video. And the whole point of this video was to talk to you guys about the fact that you don't need to do any cardio, especially if you're already working out 3 days of the week at the gym, and then also walking over 30,000 steps. So in years past, or when I first started going into the Planet Fitness on a regular basis, remember, I was doing only total body workouts at home for over a year. I wanted to get the hang of using those Bowflex dumbbells. When I first started going into the Planet Fitness gym, I always made a beeline directly for the treadmills, and I would do anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of non-incline walking, and then I stepped it up to start doing just some incline specific walking. I think I started at 2.0 speed and 2.5 speed, and eventually I was just going at a normal pace at 3.0 speed and gradually increased the incline. At one point I was even running or speed jogging on the treadmill machine, thinking that I needed to get some fat loss in before I went onto the machines and started building muscle. And that's unfortunately a pretty ineffective strategy. The whole point of going into the gym is not to lose fat, it's actually to build muscle. Of course, building fat is indirectly going to help with fat loss. It's going to allow your body to prioritize burning fat as opposed to burning muscle, especially if you're in a calorie deficit. So since then, I've skipped doing any type of cardio at the gym. I don't even do any cardio outside of the gym. And now I just stick to my 30,000 steps, technically 32,000 steps a day. So let me actually find a less congested part of this parking lot. Don't want to get run over. And let me walk you guys through what I typically do in a total body workout. So instead of doing initial cardio, I make a beeline right for the chest fly machine, which is a combo chest fly rear deltoids. And I start with doing 2 sets of either 10 reps, 11 reps, or 12 reps of the chest flies. And chest flies are going to be really good for your lower pectoralis major and somewhat your pectoralis minus muscles as well. So do 2 sets of that, and I'm currently at 160 pounds on the chest fly machine. And you know, this has just been built up through months, now over a year and a half of just going into the gym and gradually, progressively overloading. I think I started off with maybe 35 pounds, and now I'm at 160 pounds. And this is throughout a couple of different cycles of cutting and bulking and cutting, currently on maintenance now at 2,500 calories. So 160 pounds. This happens to be the second week that I'm at 160 pounds. As a result, I'm doing 2 reps of 11 reps. 2 sets of 11 reps for the chest fly machine at 160 pounds. So I'm going to do the first set and then I'm going to rest. But instead of sitting down at the machine, remember, I'm in a state of constant motion, right? No idle moments for me. No moments where I'm going to take a load off and sit down. So I'm going to be walking around that machine for approximately 60 seconds. I'm going to set a timer for 60 seconds on my phone, and I'm just going to walk around. And those 60 seconds of constantly walking around the machine are going to give me anywhere from 60 to 70 additional steps between each set of that exercise. So I do the first set, walk around for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to do the second set. Again, 11 reps. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna turn around and do rear deltoids or rear deltoid fly on that same exact machine. And I'm gonna do the same thing, 2 sets of 11 reps. So this is a week of 11 reps. So for every exercise, all of the 12 exercises that comprise my total body workout, I'm gonna be doing 2 sets of 11 reps. So first set, 11 reps, walk around for 60 seconds, and then I do the second set at 11 reps again for the rear deltoids. And by the way, for the rear deltoids, I'm at 120 pounds. So again, progressively overloading. And I started probably even lower for the chest fly machine because doing total body workouts, yes, I was able to do chest flies with the Bowflex dumbbells alone at home, but never the rear deltoids. I would do lateral raises with the Bowflex dumbbells, but never the rear delts. So the rear delts are currently at 120 pounds. And once again, between each set, I'm gonna rest and in my case, walk around for 60 seconds. So done with that first machine, knocked out 2 exercises, the first one targeting chest, the second one targeting shoulders. And now I can proceed to my second chest exercise, which is gonna be the incline bench press. I could do the flat bench, and when I first started going into the Planet Fitness gym, I used to do a lot of flat bench. But the flat bench basically serves the same purpose as the chest fly, namely, it just targets the lower pectoralis major muscles. So as a result, I'm gonna do the incline bench press and target those upper pecs. This is a week of 11 reps for each set, so I'm gonna do 2 sets of 11 reps, and I'm going to actually do the upper pectoralis major muscles with the incline bench press at 194 pounds. So each arm of that weight loaded machine is actually 12 pounds. So it's 24 pounds without any plates on it, but I'm going to obviously put some plates on it. 2 45s, 2 25s, 2 10s, and then 2 5s. Again, this is me after months and over a year progressively overloading. So if this is your first time on an incline bench press, probably a good idea to start by lifting using that machine without putting any plates on it. So that would just be, baseline would be 24 pounds. So once you've done 24 pounds, then you can start off with maybe like 5 pounds on either side. You have to have the same amount of weight on both sides. So if you have a 5-pounder on one side, you got to put a 5-pounder on the other side. And if you can only put an additional 5 pounds total on that machine, then you got to go with the 2.5 pound plates on both sides. So 2 sets of 11 reps, and between each set, you guessed it, walking around for 60 seconds. And it is hot like a mofo out here, so I'm probably not going to be able to gab a lot for this video because my back is already sweating from that total body workout, and it's just completely soaked at this point. So I'm not going to be panning this camera down so you can see all of this sweat on my body. So incline bench press, 2 sets, 11 reps. After I'm done with that, then I'm going to go, and ideally I like to go and target my back this time. And the granddaddy of all the upper body exercises is going to be the pull-up. So I'm gonna do pull-ups, and I'm gonna actually use the assisted weight machine. And the assisted weight machine works like this. The more weight you have set on that, the more assistance you're essentially receiving from the machine. And the less weight you put on it, or you kind of set it to, then that's less assistance they're getting. So I think I'm at the lowest weight setting right now, 15 pounds, just like a little boost. And I'm doing, once again, for the pull-ups, it's a little different. Since I've been at 15 pounds now for a while, I'm doing 2 sets of 12 reps. And then, of course, walking around for 60 seconds between each set. So I'm going to do 2 sets of those on the pull-up machine. Then, on that same machine, you can do dips as well. And those dips are also going to be weight assisted. So, same weight assistance, I'm going to set the machine to. So, it's going to be 15 pounds for the dips. And I'm going to do 2 sets of 12 reps as well for the dips. So, that's going to target my back. The pull-ups are going to target my back. And probably also like my biceps, my triceps, trapezius muscles, all of that stuff, shoulders as well, are all going to be targeted by the pull-ups. And then the dips are also a compound exercise, so not only just good for your triceps and your arms in general, but also good for your upper back, biceps, shoulders, traps, etc. So 2 sets of 12 reps for the dips, and then that's all she wrote for that machine. So now it's time for me to actually go and work on my arms a little bit more. I'm going to start with the biggest portion of the arm, the triceps, specifically my first isolation exercise of the day. And I'm going to do 2 sets, 11 reps this week on the triceps press. And I believe I'm at 197.5 pounds. For some reason, that particular machine doesn't go up to 200. The next range after 197.5 is actually 205. So I'll probably do 205 after 2 more weeks. So as a result, I'm going to do, or at least this week, I'm doing 2 sets of 11 reps at 197.5 pounds. After the triceps press, it's time to target the muscle with the 2 heads in my arm, and that's going to be the biceps. So there's a biceps curl not too far away from the triceps press machine, and I believe for the biceps press I'm at 90 pounds, and I'm going to do that unilaterally. So I'm going to do that on each arm individually, one after the other. So I'm going to do the right arm first, 2 sets of 11 reps at 90 pounds. Then I'm going to follow immediately, without doing any rest, without doing any walking, 2 sets of 11 reps on the left arm. Then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to walk around for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to come back and finish the second set for both my right arm and then my left arm. So by this point, I've done all my arm exercises, and I could probably just go and do another back exercise. One of my favorite back exercises after, of course, the pull-ups, and that's going to be the seated row. So this is going to be a weight-loaded seated row. And I'm at 200 pounds for the seated row. I'm going to sit down, set the seat. So I think it's at a setting of 5, I believe. And of course, set my weight at 200. And then 2 sets of 11 reps is what I did this week, what I did today. 1 set, 11 reps of that, seated row. Take a break, walk around for 60 seconds, and then follow that up with another set after, of course, finishing up and getting a couple extra steps, 60, 70 steps, what have you. So 2 sets of 11 reps is what I'm going to do for the seated row. After I'm done with the seated row, I can do the shoulder press. So I've already targeted the shoulders with both the pull-ups as well as with the dips. So now I can do the overhead press on the shoulders. And yeah, the background is not so pretty and glamorous as it usually is when I'm recording outside of my apartment complex, but figured I'd give you guys a different setting, and I just got done with the gym right there, so might as well show you the surrounding area. It's usually really nice, but it's very muggy because of all of this air pollution. Tons of wildfires all across the United States, and for us, the closest wildfire is, I think, up there in the Mideast. So because of that, that smoke has made its way down here into the Nova region. So as a result, not so pretty, but definitely the smoke is not doing so much in terms of curbing the temperature. So it's still very hot. So, overhead shoulder press. I am going to be at 110 pounds currently. 2 sets of 11 reps on the overhead shoulder press. After I'm done with the overhead shoulder press, I've essentially done the majority of my upper body exercises. I think all of my compound upper body exercises. So now I can do another isolation exercise, an isolation upper body exercise, and that's going to be the lateral raise. Remember, this was the exercise I used to do at home with just the Bowflex dumbbells. I remember using a lot of the 35 pound dumbbells, so now I'm actually up to 85 pounds. So I'm able to do lateral raises with 85 pounds, and you guessed it, 2 sets of 11 reps for the lateral raises. After I'm done with that isolation exercise, I can target my abs. Abs are revealed in the kitchen, but you still got to make them in the gym. So we got to do an isolation ab exercise. And my favorite and the only ab exercise that I do at the gym is going to be a weight-loaded abdominal crunch machine. And I believe I'm up to 145 pounds. So 145 pounds, 2 sets of 11 reps for the ab crunch. And then I can end off my total body exercise with the lone leg exercise that's needed, especially if you're someone like me already walking tons and tons of steps every day, over 32,000 in my case. The leg press machine or the hack squat machine, or even like a barbell squat, would be my recommendation as far as leg exercises. That's a compound exercise that's going to essentially target every single muscle in your legs. So I'm going to do 2 sets of 11 reps for the leg press, and for the leg press I'm at 195 pounds. So 195 pounds. This is going to be a seated leg press machine. Of course, between each set I'm going to walk around for 60 seconds, get in my steps, and that should wrap up my total body workout, which I'm able to take care of in a breeze 3 times a week. And by the way, by walking around between each of my 12 exercises, combination of compound and isolation exercises, I'm able to rack up an additional 25 to sometimes 3,000 steps, especially when I'm in the last week of a particular weight range. So for example, next week will be the last week that I'll be at 160 pounds for the chest fly, 200 pounds for the seated back row, 110 pounds for the overhead shoulder press, and I'm more than likely either gonna go up by 5 pounds or 10 pounds depending on the machine. So on those days, so next week for example, I'm probably will be getting an additional 3,000 steps. I usually like to walk a little bit more, maybe past a minute, as I'm warming up for the second set or I'm warming up for the next exercise. So that is my total body workout, which, as you notice, has 0 amounts of cardio in it. The only type of aerobic activity that I do in addition to the lifts is going to be walking, which is a form of low intensity steady state cardio. It's not going to spike my cortisol, my stress hormone. It's not going to spike my hunger hormones or ghrelin. It's going to keep my leptin, which is my hormone for satiety, for keeping me full, relatively level. And it is not going to cause me to run home and wolf down my post-workout meal, which in my case is going to be lunch. About to go home and fire up the grill, get some 6 eggs scrambled up with some salmon, and then get some sweet potato and mixed vegetables boiling in a pot right next to it. And that will be my lunch. And then about 3 hours or so later, it's going to be dinner time. And it's going to be, as I mentioned in my community posts, I'm going to rack up the protein, because that is what's going to keep me full and keep those food cravings, especially those junk food cravings, at bay. 8 ounces of chicken breast, 8 ounces of lean ground beef, 93.7, with the sweet potatoes and the mixed vegetables. And that is going to be a standard Saturday. I was planning on getting some grocery shopping done today, but I'm probably going to save it for tomorrow, because I do want to get a gulp down, get some water, get properly hydrated, take care of my lunch, take out the doggies, take care of their lunch, and of course edit this video to have it posted for tomorrow. So a little glimpse of a typical Saturday for me, a day in the life of someone who is always walking over 30,000 steps and is also lifting in order to maintain and build muscle year round.